Simon, what's going on with Manchester United and this takeover? Is a Manchester United takeover on a collision course for collapse, or are we seeing negotiation tactics being played out? As far as I gather, and I'm trying to look through all of this at the moment, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Qataris in the form of Sheikh Yassim are in there. It appears both have bid, not enough, go away, have a think, come back.
Yep.
Both are going to come back, but both have requested more time.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding they've been given more time with no new deadline. The Qataris asked for an extension first. Sir Jim then asked for an extension yesterday. Apparently, the latest is if the Glazers get what they want, if the price is right, they will definitely sell.
But we've all said that, haven't we? We've always said from the get-go that if they get what they want, forget about the fact that they'll play hide and seek with themselves. If they get the price that they want, and it's probably, like I've said for a number of times, slightly north of 5 million. It certainly is 5 billion. Certainly isn't 7 billion. Now, there's a lot of misrepresentation in this. No one's getting extensions because ultimately no one expected anyone to put a drop-dead deal in place. What you've got is indicative offers. That's the first stage. Show you've got the money, show you've got the means, show you've got the will, right? That gets you in the door. So that then slims down the list from all the tyre kickers. Then you get a position where people start to get into a competitive tension, which basically means the Rain Group are doing their ultimate job, which is the representation of the Glazers, trying to jack the price up between the various people that want to buy it and keep pushing them together to create a competitive tension to jack the price up. It's not about deadlines. There's a process of selling a business. The reasons why this is finding so much yin and yang in it is because the media are pulling at the strings and the Rain Group are using the media to create the competitive tension.
But you need some kind of deadline. Surely.
Not really, because...
It can drag on into the summer.
Hold on. If we established a point, it can drag on as long as it wants to until the Glazers get their price, right? Because this is not set by deadlines. It's not set by an administrator saying, if you don't pay this bill, the club's going to go into administration. This is set by commercial gain. And if it takes 6 months to sell a business because you're playing two sides against one another, that's what it'll take. What you have is you have an indicative position, then you have a schedule of how you'd like to complete this deal. And during that schedule, people will be looking at the books, they'll be looking at the market positioning, they'll be looking at the structuring, they'll be looking at the delisting of Man United from the New York Stock Exchange. There'll be a whole raft of things. They might even be looking at the additional need for additional funding from other funders that come in to supplement the deal so they can go back to the table with a bigger offer. All of that will be going in the background. And then you'll have a schedule of people trying to complete the deal in a certain timeline. But it will not be hard and fast deadlines. It will not be the extension of deadlines because there won't be a deadline. There will be a wish list of how we would like to sell this business.
Right.
And that's how it will work.
Well, here's a fairly straightforward question, though. What happens to Manchester United's transfer window if the takeover saga extends into the summer?
Nothing. Manchester United is a going concern, generating £400 or £500 million a year, and they'll spend what they spend. And if they spend £200 million in the transfer window, and the new owners coming in get the benefit of that, then maybe they'll add that to the price.
So if the new owner isn't in, I mean, it's almost inconceivable to think. But if he's not in by the next window, doesn't really matter.
Well, it will not make one scintilla of difference unless you believe that Manchester United are going to do what Todd Bowley did, which is create a new economic model of spending £600 million in 3 months. If you believe the new owners are going to do that, then maybe you have a case, but they're not, because the whole dynamics of football financing and football financial fair play is about to change anyway. So it will not. Manchester United will not have one scintilla of impact besides the last chance saloon gang that'll be saying we want the Glazers out.
Yeah.
And when you get the next guys in that don't do precisely what you want them to do, because they will not, they'll be the next one to be told to get out as well.
I'm getting some information on this as we speak. And I'll put it to you, you can bounce it back at me. Only the Glazers know the asking price, correct?
Of course.
Even some of the top advisors don't know exactly how much they want. Would that be right?
Well, what you want is as much as you can bleed and will get, and you will move the goalposts. If someone says to me, well, I remember thinking when I'm going to sell my business, I'll take 70 million quid. The moment I got to 70, I thought I'll have 80. And the moment I got to 80, I thought I'll have 90. And the moment I got to 90, I thought I'd have 100. And I'll keep on going till the silly buggers stop bidding.
You do know you owe me 20 quid. The working assumption is that they want 6 billion.
I've always felt, and we've said it, and you go back through the audio that we've done over the last 6 months on this, I've said this is a £5 to £6 billion deal. If it gets any bigger than that, it's going to fall out of bed. People are going to have their pants pulled down and they're not going to do it. And even at £5 billion, people are breaking their own necks.
You see, this is what worries a lot of Man United fans, though, Simon. Lots of proposals are for minority stakes or a simple offer of financing. So in other words, not for outright control, because there's pessimism that the Glazers will sell, even if they don't think, we wanted more, but we're not going to get more, so we'll just sell. They're not going to do that.
But here's the thing, Jim. Why don't you worry about things that you can actually affect, right?
Right.
If the Glazers are going to take a minority shareholding because it suits them best. Guess what you're going to be able to do, Man United fans? Bugger all, right? So the bottom line is the less the Glazers have control over Manchester United's stock, the more they start to move their position from majority shareholders, inch by inch, yard by yard, the nearer you are to a destination of getting them out. In your ideal world, somebody comes in and says, here's 5.5 or 6 billion quid on the nail, we'll give it to you tomorrow, and out go the Glazers. In the real world, what's going to happen is you might have a deal that goes nowhere near that. You might have a change of mind from the Glazers. They might play hard ball with themselves and say, not until we get reports. Or you might have people buying minority shares, but they're all up for grabs. But the bottom line now, what's happening is you're getting, with due respect, uneducated sports journalists pontificating on how a commercial deal is held together. Put this in the Financial Times and ask the Financial Times journalists to tell you how a deal's held together, and they'll give you a completely different story of blow by blow. Dun, 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 which is sports journalism sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you have to...
Not you, I'm not talking about you.
I'm talking about
someone else.
But you have to be advised by people who you regard as a credible source. And that might be somebody at the Rain Group, that might be somebody close to the deal, that might be somebody close to the...
And the Rain Group are stoking
the bidders.
And the Rain Group are stoking the tensions because their job is to keep everybody at it, on it, across it, keep Man United on the front page of the newspaper, because the bigger the juice on Man United, the potential bigger outcome they can get for their ultimate client, which is the Glazers.
Is it as simple as this? If Sir Jim bids X and the Qataris bid Y, and Y is $250 million more than Sir Jim,
depends on
does that mean the Qataris get it?
Depends on the conditionality of it. Depends upon how the deal might be structured. Depends upon a variety of things. This isn't just basically, here's a box of chocolates. They're worth 10 quid. I'll pay 12 quid for them. Off you go with that box of chocolates. There's a far more complicated, complex set of scenarios involved in this. So it does require a whole raft of structuring. So it'll take some time.
Who eventually reined you in? Because when you got your first bid for your mobile phone company,
Vodafone.
Vodafone.
No. Vodafone.
Was it about 40 million?
Yeah, Vodafone reined me in when I decided to chance it just one time too many and said, I haven't told you about this, that I'm selling the business, given the fact I'm your biggest connector in the country, but now I'm going to sell it to one-to-one. Do you fancy buying it for 110 million? And they turned around and said, no, thank you, go away. And now I knew that I'd reached the end of the road because I'd spent the last 3 months telling one-to-one that everyone else was bidding against them and all they were doing was bidding against themselves.
Oh, you got them going against each other?
The perfect auction.
All right. And when you got to 100 million, you thought, I should really quit now. I've done all right.
No, I didn't. There was I couldn't rinse another penny out of it. They didn't believe my lies.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.